It's March 3rd, 6 in the morning, 2019. I've been down for 2 days straight, basically curled up in a ball. I haven't been able to eat anything. Every time I have coffee, they make me sick. They woke me up at 5 this morning. They were burning me here, right in my solar plexus. There's nothing I could do about it. There's no way I could go back to sleep. I tried for an hour, and I was tortured, unable to go to sleep. This is now the third day I have not eaten anything. Friday night, the first night, today's Sunday, they gave me a headache the entire night until they got bored of it and they started to make me throw up. Now, I didn't eat anything on Friday, and I threw up the entire night, Friday night. I threw up in the shower, I threw up in the trash can right here, and I threw up in the ashtray out on the deck. 3 different places. I must have thrown up, gone through the motions 25 times. Makes no sense because I did not eat anything. So it wasn't food poisoning. It was just harassment. I want to know when I'm going to be able to eat again. In the past, they've only let me eat about 1 time a day because they don't give me an appetite. So, it's been 2 days in a row. My father's been here to witness it. So, I'm here on the third day at 6 in the morning. After not being able to sleep for 2 days. I slept 4 hours last night. Maybe 5. Nothing the night before. Throwing up the entire night. Yesterday, during the day, they messed with my body temperature, and it was fluctuating. I'd get really hot, really sweaty, and I'd get really cold. And they did that the entire day. Normally, they only do it for 20 minutes after I get out of the shower because they think it's cute. Well, they extended it this time, and it was like an entire day thing. And on top of that, the guy about 5 minutes ago just tried to start doing the same thing again. He started to heat up my body. I started to get really sweaty, which makes no sense because I just spent 5 hours under 2 blankets. If I was going to get hot and sweaty, I would have done so then. I'm up now. It's raining in Los Angeles. It's cold. There's no reason I should be with an elevated temperature and starting to sweat, especially at 6 in the morning when I'm not doing anything. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm here to document all the crap and all the bullshit and all things that don't make any sense medically. They're all medical discrepancies. What sucks is, as soon as you figure out that gangstalking is made up in your mind, and as soon as you're able to figure out the mind games that they're playing, they don't have a backup plan. Their backup plan is just to torture you and hold you hostage, which really, really sucks. So, since August of 2016, I've been basically held completely hostage. because they wanted to send me to the hospital. I said, we're going to send you to the hospital. And of all the harassment, I only complained of physical pain, so they had no way to send me to a mental hospital. Also, the other thing that prevented them from doing that is I'm not a threat to myself, and I'm not a threat to anybody else. So I'm not dangerous. I'm just harassed and on the ground, curled up in a ball for 85% of the day, which is complete bullshit. How am I supposed to make a living? How am I supposed to support myself? How am I supposed to not be homeless? How am I supposed to not tax my family so much that, I mean, it's just ridiculous right now. I can't do anything, and I've been down, seriously down since October, curled up in a ball since October. In August of 2016, they said they wanted me in the hospital. They stepped up the pressure, and it's been a high pressure situation ever since. 4 hours sleep, 1 meal a day. But especially since Friday, I mean, they just won't let me eat. And I threw up the entire night on Friday night. And then yesterday I spent the entire day sweating and wet and feeling sick. And now they get me up in the morning after 5 hours sleep, no food. They're hurting my stomach, and they're burning my solar plexus here. So I have no choice but to document this. There are 1,000 other things I'd rather be doing at 6 in the morning on a Sunday morning than, talking to you and complaining about the harassment. Once you figure out that gangstalking is made up in your mind, and it's what they do is mimic voices, so you think that you're hearing things that you're not, and then you get upset at some of the things you hear, and it instigates arguments, disagreements, and chaos. Once you figure that out, it eliminates their ability to create chaos in your life. They just torture you, they just debilitate you and take you out, and it's really a lack of imagination on their part. I think they were so cocky that they thought their plan would be foolproof and everybody would be subject to falling for it, and it's just bullshit and crap. Eventually you're going to figure it out. I've been doing it for 18 years. Eventually you're going to figure it out. There were two things that I had trouble dealing with as far as ego was concerned, my ego was concerned in this harassment. The first thing was, I was hearing voices. It was very difficult for me to admit that I may be mentally ill. It took a long time, and I recommend you don't make the same mistake. There's nothing wrong with mental illness, and there's definitely nothing wrong with checking yourself out to make sure you're okay and you're healthy. That was the first thing that delayed me as far as my ego was concerned. The second was the gangstalking. I moved from 2 different apartments. And I had disagreements with 2 different neighbors, and it took me a long time to go back and figure out that I was in the wrong. I didn't have to admit it because I moved, so that was fine, but to actually admit that I was in the wrong in those situations because I was hearing things and then yelling at these people. So I looked delusional. And then when the police came, I was saying they looked delusional. The police didn't know what to do. It was a mess. But it took me a long time to admit that I got duped, and I got duped hard. I had to move twice, and they got me good. But now, they can't get me, and they just torture me. So now I just make fun of them all day, and they hurt me in response. So I'm tired of it and fed up with it. I recommend you either email me at mindcontrolinformation@gmail.com, or you read more about gangstalking on my blog, which is mindcontrolinformation.blogspot.com. It'll tell you about the gangstalking and how it's made up in your mind, and I think I have some examples of what happened to me, and hopefully you can learn from that. But I warn you, as soon as you figure out that Gangstalking is not real, they're going to debilitate you, and they're going to take you down, and they're going to make it feel as if you're being held hostage against your will with pain. And they're going to try and piss you off and get you to lash out. And just know it's coming. Just know it's coming. They have no plan above and beyond Gangstalking. Now, some of the other things that are going around on the web of disinformation on the internet, they want you to reach out for help on the internet. They want you to get involved with these conference calls because they can reinforce some of the conspiracies that are keeping the mainstream public from actually considering what we're talking about is real. Like Gangstalking, they will, on the conference calls on the websites, and especially the whistleblowers that claim that they used to work for intelligence agencies, will swear up and down that Gangstalking is real, and there's a physical protocol for it. It doesn't exist. And anybody that tells you that the intelligence agencies are conducting the Gangstalking, or people are actually doing it, are trying to keep you confused, and they're lying to you, basically. Everything is constructed in your mind. They talk to you directly. You think it's coming from different areas, downstairs, next door, outside in a courtyard, anywhere they can create the source of where these sounds are coming from. They can put that thought in your mind. Not only the sound, but the idea of where the source of the sound is coming from. So if you don't know what they're capable of, you don't stand a chance. I mean, they're going to have you running around in circles chasing your tail, and they're going to be laughing at you the entire time. Once you figure out Gangstalking is fake and it's made up in your mind, they can't do that anymore. Then you're laughing at them, and they're running around in a circle chasing their tail. And I think that's why they've debilitated me, and I'm like completely flat and disabled now. They have no way of tricking me. It's very difficult because I know what the machine is capable of. Oftentimes, because you have two guys, the guy on my left, which is your right, and the guy on my right. The guy on the left, he watches your conscious thought, what you're aware of. The guy on your right, he watches your subconscious thought. That's the thoughts that are forming before they're realized. He sees a range of what you're thinking, and then you pick what you want to think, and you realize that thought, and at which point he sees it. So the guy on the left is, in essence, like blind until you're aware of something. So if you never realize the thought, you move quickly, the guy on the left can't do anything to you. He's helpless. So that's fun. You'll have fun with that. I have a lot of fun with that. Idiot. The guy on the right's more difficult to get, to screw with. If you want to screw with him, oftentimes what you do is, if you have a thought that's realized that's not satisfactory to them, what you do is you blame the guy on the right. Because the guy on the left's going, what? You blame the guy on the right. It's his fault. He put that there. He was the one that pushed that into my awareness. And then they get into an argument. It's really actually kind of funny. The guy on the left is, why did you do that? The guy's like, I didn't. He's lying to you. And then they argue about it. It's really actually kind of fun. That's the only way I know how to get the guy on the right, because he sees stuff before you even. It's, you form it in your brain, your awareness, your thought. So, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about were implants. That's another thing that's on the internet that is a very popular hypothetical source of the harassment, because people have trouble believing it's wireless. Because you have people talking to you wirelessly, which is the first thing to get over. But then they're reacting to what you're thinking, which means that they say something, you think something, it goes all the way to a computer and then to his brain, and then he reacts to it, and it happens instantaneously. And that is so hard to believe that it's wireless. It takes you a long time to believe that it's wireless. But I will tell you this, I have never set off an airport scanner. As far as having an implant in me, I've been dealing with this for 18 years. I had some guy offer to scan me at one point, but he scared me and I didn't want to deal with him. He was going to come by, he wanted to know where I lived, and he was aggressive, so I decided not to do it. But I've never had, and I've been through court system scanners, I've been through airport scanners, I've never had any of them go off for having any sort of implant in me. Now, people that do find implants in them, I have no idea how they got there. But I do know this, there's no way that you're going to be able to convince a judge that whatever they found in your body is related to your harassment. It's just not going to happen. The science isn't there, you can't prove it. You're going to look delusional. So I recommend not even looking for implants. Everything is wireless. It's going to make you look delusional. And the people that are on the internet claiming that gangstalking and implants are real, implants may be real, but they're not related to your harassment. I have no idea how they got there. You might have been abducted by aliens. You might have had somebody put something in you. But they're, for sure, you're not going to be able to prove that whatever you have is related to your harassment. It's just not going to happen. So forget about it and stop looking for implants, because everything is wireless. The web of disinformation on the internet needs to be investigated. Alright? You're dealing with somebody who's harassing you wirelessly, but you know that there's the wrong information on the internet. You can't find the person that's dealing with you wirelessly, but you can go after the disinformation on the internet. The whistleblowers that claim the intelligence agencies are doing it, they are all working for the people that are harassing you. They will swear up and down that gangstalking is real and that implants are the method of things that are being done. That's not true. They're keeping the web of disinformation to keep you confused and make you look crazy. Now, they've exposed themselves. They're on the internet. They go on conference calls. They have physical addresses. They have jobs. These are people that are furthering the disinformation to keep you confused. And they claim that they used to work for intelligence agencies to get your trust. Wake up. Alright? These are the people that are messing with you and keeping the disinformation going. If you want to stop electronic harassment, group together, hire private investigators, and go after the moderators of the websites, the whistleblowers that claim that they used to work for the intelligence agencies, and the owners of the websites that are keeping the disinformation and the crap on the internet to confuse you and scare you. And that's all you need to do to stop electronic harassment. It's a clear, exposed path to these people and these groups. Now, I don't have the money to hire the private investigators to go after them. And the other thing is, I'm on the ground curled up in a ball, so there's nothing I can do, but I can tell you how to do it. Maybe you're not in a stage of harassment where I am complete debilitation and disabled. But maybe there's something you can do about it. Maybe there's somebody who's not harassed who can start to investigate. Now, to the moderators of the website, specifically Frank, if you're not crooked, you have nothing to worry about. I love you for doing what you do. But if you're not crooked, you have nothing to worry about. If there's no financial tie between you and the people that are doing this, then you don't have anything to worry about. So, I apologize that I unleashed a number of people to investigate what you're doing, but it needed to be done. There are bad people that are out there, specifically Richard Lighthouse, Karen Stewart, Catherine Horton. These are all people that are working for the intelligence agencies. They swear up and down that Gangstalking is real, and they're not delusional. They're not duped. These are people trying to confuse you. So I would investigate those people, the moderators of the websites, the owners of the websites, and there you go. These are the people that are furthering the disinformation and keeping you down, keeping you confused, hijacking your life, and doing all of that. So, enough of that for now. I'm going to take a break. Thanks for listening, and this makes me feel a lot better. So, appreciate it. Have a great day, and hopefully all this stuff ends soon. God bless.